I get the impression it's not going to be a lolly scramble. I think we're not a part of the electoral cycle where we're going to get a lolly scramble budget. But we did get a look at how bad things might have been if we'd gone the other way at the last election. The Green Party unveiled at Parliament the other day, they didn't invite us, damn shame, their alternative budget, and many people saying, probably quite a lot in there that Labor wouldn't agree with, including some new death tax. They didn't send me a copy of their budget, but I knew the chaps at the New Zealand Initiative think tank were likely to have a look at it. And sure enough, the most humorous German I know, Oliver Hartwich, had a crack and had a look at the Green budget, and he joins us now to give us a debrief. Oliver, nice to know too that you people are allowed into the lockup next Thursday.
Yeah, quite a good development. Good morning, Sean. Yes, it wasn't clear until yesterday, really, whether we would be allowed to go into the lockup or not. I mean, we used to every year, and that seemed to have changed with the half-year economic update last year. And then we got confirmation, of course, that for the budget, we weren't invited either. Not alone, by the way, together with the Taxpayers Union and Business New Zealand and the CTU, so the trade unions. And quite a lot of us protested because we said, well, actually, we are part of civil society. We should be there. And about 48 hours later, Treasury and the Minister of Finance gave in, and now we're all back.
Oh, joy of joys. I mean, I just said it's like a turkey asking for an early Christmas. It's a party if I didn't get invited to, I'd be quite happy not to go. All right, let's talk about the other budget, though. The Greens unveiled their alternate budget, and I've got to say, if you like, the impression I've got from mainstream media, I see the figure of $80 to $90 billion. Is that the quantum of new spending they were suggesting?
Well, it's actually the quantum of new tax that they want to levy. So they want to increase taxes over 4 years by $88 billion. That's quite a bit of money. And even over 4 years, that means it would be an additional 5% of GDP. So everything that the economy produces per year. Now, that's quite substantial. How do they want to get there? Well, with the usual, a bit more debt and, of course, a lot more in taxes. So they want to increase income tax. They want to increase the corporate tax. They have some really interesting tax gimmicks planned, like a passenger arrival tax for people arriving on private jets, $5,000 per arrival per person. Whether that's realistic or not, that's a different matter. So they want to raise all of this money and then pay for the goodies. So basically,
I heard too, though, that they were going to have tax cuts for 90% of people.
Yeah, I couldn't quite find that in the details. But to me, it looks like a massive increase in tax. And then, of course, as I said, they wanted to really spend the money. So there will be basically a universal basic income of $395 a week. And then on top of that, all sorts of other goodies. So free childcare. My favorite is actually free dentistry for everybody. I have no idea how they're going to do that. I mean, I'm not even talking financially. I mean, practically. Do you know how many dentists we have in New Zealand?
No, not enough, obviously. That's why people go to India and Thailand to get their teeth done.
Yeah, exactly. I looked it up. We've got 2,138 full-time dentists in New Zealand, of which only 3.7% are employed by Te Whatu Ora, so by the public health system. How on earth the Greens are going to give us all free dentistry when the current wait times in the public sector, actually, for public service dentists is more than 12 months is beyond me. So it's not just that you can't pay for the stuff, the people are just not there to deliver this. On top of that, they want to build more houses. So Kainga Ora gets a big boost in house building, never mind that they are struggling to build the houses they're currently building, and never mind that we had a policy a few years ago called Kiwi Build. Remember Kiwi Build? The Greens obviously don't remember Kiwi Build, so they're trying to do that exactly again. So looking at the whole thing, it is not so much a budget or an alternative budget. I mean, the figures add up. I mean, we tax 88 billion and we spend 88 billion, and they say it's all kind of costed. It's actually just something that is not realistic. It's not realistic from an economics perspective. It's not realistic from a practical perspective. So the whole thing is actually not so much a budget, but a kind of a picture of an alternative country.
So it's a fantasy. It's like a fantasy, but it's like a fantasy football team. If I could get all the greatest players in the world and make the fantasy football team. This is what so it's a fantasy budget, isn't it?
That's exactly what it is. I mean, you probably remember Kermit the Frog. He said it's not easy being green. Actually, reading through the green budget, I think it's pretty easy. You just imagine things, put them into your document, say you've got an alternative budget. That's how easy it is being green these days.
Is there anything in there that does indicate how the left is thinking in real economic policy? Is there anything in there that Labor have come out and said, oh, yeah, we'd probably do that?
No, and I read it. There is absolutely nothing there that would practically work. Pretty much everything that they would do would drive us further into debt, increase the size of the state, is unpractical, and would actually drive people and companies out of the country. So if any of this plan would be implemented, it would be a disaster. If all of that would be implemented, you could shut New Zealand down.